What's going on, guys? Just wanted to make a quick little video on the games that I beat in 2021. Before I get started, I did not beat a lot of games this past year just due to work, school, life, being an adult. But, and I'm probably not going to get any views on this video, but fuck it, I'm doing it for myself. So let me get started with the first game I beat this year, River City Girls, which which I beat last year. Technically, I did not beat this game last year. I beat it on New Year's Eve of 2020, so I'm cheating. But I don't have a lot of games on the list, and I want to talk about River City Girls, so F it. I'm still gonna talk about beating this game. This game, if you're a fan of beat 'em ups, dude, you gotta check this game out. I beat this game with my friend Daniel. It's a sequel, I believe, or kind of like, I think it is a sequel to River City Ransom. Great beat 'em up game. You play as these two female characters, and the twist is that you're trying to, instead of saving the damsel in distress, you're trying to save your boyfriends in the game. That's the objective of the game. Uh, the battle system, man, so awesome in this game. You can purchase moves, you can purchase super moves. You're leveling up your character. You can do like combos. Like you can do like a literal volleyball spike to a character, jump up in the air, and then bitch slap them out of the air. Super fun game. I played as the brunette girl right above the black haired girl up here. She's more of like the flashy acrobatic fighter, and the girl with the black hair right here, she's more like a brawler. Like she throws headbutts. She's more like the dirty fighter, but man, super awesome game. I kind of want to go through it just to be able to purchase some of the super moves that I didn't get to buy. But and they're coming out with a sequel, I believe, this year. Check this one out if you're a fan of beat 'em ups. Before I forget, I'm gonna give each one a star rating. I give this one 4.5 stars out of 5. Awesome game. All right, let's go to the next game. Beat this one also. I beat this one in like January of last year. Oh, before I forget, I beat River City Girls on the Xbox Series X. I also beat this one on the Xbox Series X, and I gotta say, after playing River City Girls, this game just did not really impress me that much. I don't think I played that one um, back on the 360. So I didn't have a lot of nostalgia for Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I did get it once it came out last year because I know that it was not available for a while. Like you couldn't download it or anything. So when it came out, it was a big deal because a lot of the fans of the game wanted to play it again. So yeah, I played it last year with my buddy. Like I said, right after I beat River City Girls, and I gotta say, I was not that impressed. I mean, I don't know. Maybe because I was comparing it to River City Girls. River City Girls kind of felt like it was in the spirit of Scott Pilgrim, but I just thought River City Girls had better fighting mechanics, just tighter controls. This one also had a lot of glitches. I don't know if they've patched that, but when it came out last year, so many bugs, so many glitches, so it wasn't even fun. Like your characters would get stuck, like the enemies would get stuck, glitch out, so then you couldn't even progress in the level. So I don't know. This one, I didn't really feel it, to be honest. I give this one 2 stars out of 5. Didn't really dig it. I don't know. All right, let me go to my next game that I beat. By the way, I'm going in order of when I beat them. So the next game I beat after Scott Pilgrim was The Medium. This was one that I was looking forward to when I got my Series X. Man, this was the game that I was looking forward to the most over Halo, over any of the other exclusives on the Xbox. This is the one that I was looking forward to. I wanted to play this Medium game. And let me tell you, it kind of let me down. It wasn't. I don't know. I guess I was expecting. I'm a big fan of like the Evil Within games. I also like the Resident Evil games. I was expecting something along those lines, or like a Senua. I don't know if you all have played Senua Hellblade. Uh, this one, man, it was a letdown. It just the graphics kind of looked like they were straight out of like the 360p, not even, yeah, but yeah, I guess like 360 PS3 era. And I was, Series X. I was expecting, oh, mind blowing graphics, especially in this game where the character, she, I guess, well, she's a medium, and she can go between like the real world and like limbo, I guess, like the or dead world, whatever. I don't know if it's limbo or dead world, but I was expecting like really awesome graphics, and graphics weren't that great. The gameplay, eh. The story, eh. I don't know. Just didn't really feel this game. Big fan of horror video games, as you can tell. Tales from the Crypt. I love horror stuff, but and I like cheesy horror games, like some of the Resident Evil games and games like that. And this one just, I don't know. It didn't do it for me. Maybe because I had such high expectations that it just kind of let me down. So this one I give 2 stars out of 5. All right, let's go to the next game. The next game was It Takes Two, another Xbox Series X game. Very heavy on the Xbox Series X this year. And I'll explain why later when I get to my final game. But this one, It Takes Two, I beat with my buddy Killer Rules slash Francisco. Co op video game. Um, One thing I want to mention about the company that makes these games, they also made a Way Out. You got to give them a shout out because they only require you to buy one copy of the game. And then what you do is you invite the friend that you want to play with. And all they do is, I guess they download something on their system. Or they technically, I think, download the game and they're able to play the game with you without having to purchase, without you having to purchase 2 copies of the game to play co op with your friend. So, yeah, this game is really fun. You play as a married or soon to be divorced couple, which was kind of funny because I played with like I said, my male heterosexual friend Francisco Killer Rules, and it was pretty funny. I think you're supposed to be playing this game like with your wife or significant other, but I played it with my buddy Francisco, which was kind of awkward at times because there's certain things that happen in the game where you're like, all right. But yeah, really fun game. I told my buddy while we were playing it, it kind of felt like some of the gameplay, like it's Gears of War, but just reskinned in this kind of cutesy art style. That It kind of also gave me a lot of vibes of Honey I Shrunk the Kids, 90s movie where you're like, they're tiny pretty much, and in this game you're tiny and you're like battling like animals out in the yard, and I think you're battling like wasps or bees or something, and you have like a honey, like some glue gun or something. But man, the gameplay is really fun game, really short game, but just let alone on them allowing you to buy one copy versus being, greedy, like some of these companies can be greedy, making you buy 2 copies. This one's like buy one copy, invite your friend, they can play for free with you. So fairly fun game. Really recommend it if you're into co-op games. I give this one 3.5 stars out of 5. All right, let's get to the next game. Surprise, surprise, another Xbox Series X game. And for the first time, I wanted to show a physical copy of each game that I beat, but before this one, I had only beaten them digitally. This is the first game where I can actually show off a physical copy. So this is the Steelbook for Resident Evil Village on the Series X. Really cool. Yeah, this game, really, really good. Really, really good game. Um, it's not as scary. I'm sure a lot of other people have mentioned this already. Not as scary as Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7, creepy as hell. This one, um, Not as scary. I mean, it is. There is a scene in the beginning where I almost wanted to put the controller down and stop playing because it's kind of overwhelming. That's probably the scariest part of the game. But then as you're kind of leveling up your character, leveling up your guns, um, it becomes less scary because you become more powerful. Your guns are more powerful, so maybe more on the actiony side, but regardless, so super fun game. Really enjoyed my time with this one. Um, I feel like with some of these Resident Evil games, this one and Part 7, it's they're like scary in the beginning. Like I said, 7 a lot scarier, and then as they go on, the story gets more and more ridiculous. Where you're like, all right, this isn't even scary anymore because it's like super unbelievable, over the top. But either way, super fun game. I give this one. Hold on, let me check out my notepad here. Give this one 4 stars out of 5. All right, let's go. Let's get to the next game that I beat. Back for Blood, surprise, surprise, on the Series X. Another digital game that I played with my buddy Killer Rules Francisco. I think some of the people that worked on this one also worked on the Left 4 Dead games. So when you play this one, definitely you get a lot of Left 4 Dead vibes. Really fun. You can play up to 4 players. We played through the whole game pretty much just us two, but at times we would have random people join us, and that's kind of one of the things where depending on your team, it's gonna affect how much fun you have playing it. Because when we played with like people that were like actually trying to do the objective and were actually decent, um, it was fun because we were getting stuff done. We were getting through the level because some of the levels get. I think I had it on the easy mode or medium mode, and it was difficult for me because it's kind of like they throw a lot of zombies at you. Um, so if you're playing with people that are like decent at least and know what they're doing, it was fun. But at times when you would play with people that were constantly dying, kind of like going away from the team, in this Back for Blood, you got to stay tight. If you don't, if someone wanders off, just like in Left 4 Dead, you kind of get killed, and then you get your teammates killed. So at times when you played with like people that were not really that good or weren't team oriented in their game style, it was not that fun. It was kind of annoying because you're constantly dying, constantly having to go through the level. And yeah, and I think with this one they give you continues. Like you can't just keep playing the same checkpoint, starting from the same checkpoint over and over and over. If you die, you run out of continues, you have to start all over again. So um, this game, fun game. I think I still prefer the Left 4 Dead games. I don't know if that's just nostalgia talking, but this game was really fun too. Give this one 3.5 stars out of 5. All right, now to my last game that I beat this year, and the reason that I think part of the well, I didn't play a lot of games, just like I was mentioning, because I was really busy with work and school and life in general this year. But this was another one of the reasons I didn't get to cycle through a lot of games. Usually, what I do, so I own a Switch, the PS5, and the Series X. Usually, what I like to do in the previous generation when I had the Xbox One, PS4, and the Switch, if I beat a single player game, let's say on the PS4, then I would jump over to the Xbox One, beat a game there, a single player game, and then I would go to the Switch, beat a game there, go back to the PS4. This game, with everything in my life last year, Jesus, it took me the whole damn year to beat, over a year, I think, to beat this game. Zelda Breath of the Wild. Um, yeah, I think I started maybe November, October of 2020, and I beat it December of 2021. Oh boy. My video is going to get a lot of views. I have 15 subscribers, and I think my mom's one of them. But so I don't think I'm gonna get a lot of viewers. But if I do, I'm sure I'm gonna get some hate for this. But gotta say, I wasn't very impressed by this game. Um, I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a fine game, but I had heard so much about this is one of the greatest games ever made, one of all time best Zelda games. Before I go on, I've never beaten a Zelda game, let alone really played a Zelda game. I think the only one I had played before was I think it was Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo, and that was like 30 minutes. I just ran around hitting the chickens. Um, so this was my first time playing a Zelda game. I wanted to make sure I could say I played and beaten a Zelda game, and what better game to start I mean, arguably this one right here. Where am I? Am I pointing the right way? This one right here, arguably one of the greatest games ever, and I don't, I don't see it. Maybe it's not for me. Maybe it's just not for me. Maybe it's goes over my head, but I I don't I when I beat the game, I just kind of like put the controller down and was like, "Okay, I beat it. That was fine." But I guess because of the hype that this game gets, I was expecting like I was going to have my mind blown, my life was going to change. I was expecting, all right, maybe I'm exaggerating, but maybe I was at least expecting like I'm going to be a Zelda fan from now on. Like I really wanted to like it. I'm not just trying to be a hater on Zelda, but I just didn't. The things that I enjoyed the most. Well, yeah, let me talk about at least what I enjoyed. The things that I enjoyed the most was the harvesting, the looking for food, like you know, getting food, looking for mushrooms, getting meats, cooking the meats, making the recipes. That might have been like my favorite thing to do in the game, but oh man, I don't know. Like the battle system, it's good, but the weapons breaking like every 3 minutes was really frustrating because you're like, especially when you're battling like the bosses, because you're like comboing, the bosses, and then your weapon breaks, and then you gotta swap. And that this goes for your swords, your bow, like your shields. So it kind of like disrupts the flow of the gameplay. So that was annoying. I also felt like I spent a lot of time just running, like running through empty fields, and I haven't, and God forbid that you're trying to like climb a mountain or something and it's raining, because then you just gotta wait it out because you can't climb that mountain if it's raining. So I don't know, like it was fine. Like I was expecting one of the best games ever, which that's what it's touted as, and I don't see it. As I was playing it, I know they're different different types of games, but as I was playing it, I was like, I would rather be playing Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't know. But yeah, it was fine. I'll probably never play another Zelda game. My buddy Anubis told me to try, I think it's A Link to the Past, the one that they remastered for the Switch, if I'm not mistaken. But maybe I'll give it a shot, but I kind of just feel like maybe Zelda's just not, it's just not for me, maybe. Um, I'm not just a Nintendo hater. I had never played a 3D Mario game, and I played Super Mario Odyssey a few years ago for the Switch. Dude, I love that game. That's probably one of my favorite games ever. So I would definitely get the next Super Mario 3D game, but as for Zelda, I think maybe just not for me. So this one I gave 2.5 stars. Didn't hate it. I'm not gonna say I hated it, or I just was expecting more and kind of felt let down. So that's it. Those are the only games I beat. I beat how many? 7 games? Yeah, 7 games. I would say probably the best, my favorite game that I played, I would probably give to Resident Evil Village. That was the best game. Not my favorite Resident Evil. I like Part 7 better, but this one was really good too, really fun. So if I had to choose which one was my favorite, Resident Evil, probably right behind it as far as a co-op game. I'm jumbling up here. River City Girls, phew, can't wait for that next one. As far as my least favorite game that I played this year, sorry, Zelda fans, it's got to be this one. Not, come on, best best game ever. Really? I don't know. I guess it's not fair. It should have been the medium, I guess, technically. Yeah, the medium was my least favorite. Zelda at least had some stuff that I like. This one was just kind of like I played it. I will never play it again. Get rid of it. So sorry, it's not Zelda. It's the medium, least favorite. I guess I just had a lot of expectations for Zelda. All right, well that's it. I don't know if I'll be making videos throughout the year. I don't know if I have any ideas on what I would do, but who knows? Maybe I'll now that I've made my first video, maybe I'll be motivated to make some throughout the year if I come up with some ideas and pump some out if I get the motivation to do that. But other than that, check out. I have a podcast, an audio podcast that you can download on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, anywhere you download your podcast. It's called the Retro Wave. If you're into wrestling, old school wrestling, video games, horror, old school horror, anything like that. If you're a geek like me with all that stuff, check out the Retro Wave. It's on Spotify. Like I said, pretty much anywhere you download your podcast. I'll also put a link in the description of the video, and that'll take you directly to the website of the podcast. Other than that, see you. Oh, by the way, I also am gonna try to stream every Thursday, 8 p.m. Pacific time. Um, just playing like my backlog of old like Xbox 360, PS3, mostly probably like horror, wrestling games. I also just built a Raspberry Pi that's next to the little chubby Mario right here. I want to play some like old WrestleFest, Superstars, old arcade games. So I'm gonna try to do that every Thursday at 8 p.m. Pacific time. Other than that, see you guys later.